now rocking with the best. Who's the boxing show that's knocking out the competition? The kick-ass podcast that make you want to listen. The place where boxing fans and fighters rejoice. Thumbs up for Richie, you're listening to the fighter's voice. It's the brightest choice. If you want all the insights on all the big fights right before the big night. Backstage news, exclusive interviews, and predictions on the fights who will win or lose. No other show comes close, and you know it's true. Every fighter got a voice, and so do you. Now you're tuned into TFV. It's the fighter's voice with Richard Ortiz. Let's go.
There's a lot of changes, guys.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Fighter's Voice podcast radio show. It sounds good to say radio show. That means we're equipped and that means we're ready to go, and we're giving it some radio structure. I want to thank everybody who's tuning in this evening with us. We got a great show. We're going to share the mic and the platform this evening. First of all, we got with us, I always want to say in studio, Danny. You know, I'm so used to saying live in studio, but now I still got to get accustomed to saying by way of Zoom. Ladies and gentlemen, we got with us the former WBA, IBF super bantamweight champion of the world, who fights this Saturday in the co-main event on Showtime Boxing. Ladies and gentlemen, promoted by Thompson Boxing Promotions. Without further ado, the one, the only, Mr. Danny, the babyface assassin, Roland. What's up, my man?
So Reggie, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Hey, before I even get started, man, I usually don't do this, but you know what? I really like this shirt, man. I mean, I got to show you this shirt right here. Check this out, man. This came in the mail, and you know what? It's really comfortable, man. It's very comfortable. You know what? I mean, where can I pick up one of these? You know, say I wanted to get another one. Or say a fan or a follower wanted to get another one. How can we acquire one of these? Because it actually is very comfortable.
Yes, you can follow me on underscore babyface assassin underscore on Instagram.
Yeah,
and I'll give you the details right there.
Okay.
Right now I'm sold out for shirts, but I'm gonna do, after the fight I'll do another sale. So keep
you ain't gonna be sold out, because I'm gonna market this thing for you, my man. Everybody's gonna say, Richard, I don't want the Fighter's Voice hat. I want that shirt right there, man. I mean, I'm gonna need some, and they're gonna even want the women's cut too, because you know summer is coming. You know, and along is those hands are coming this Saturday, man. I mean, enough about the T-shirt, enough about everything else. Let's talk about what you've been waiting for, and that's to get back into the ring and do what you do best. Let's talk about Saturday.
Yes, well, Saturday I'm going against an opponent called Ricardo Espinosa, Hindu Espinosa. He's a tough fighter, comes forward, comes to fight. So it's going to be some fireworks. Because every time two Mexicans go up the ring, you know, it's going to be a war. So, you know, I'm ready for that. I'm excited for that. And also I'm excited to be back home because it's in my own backyard. It's here in Carson. So, hey, I'm going to have some family members, some friends, some fans are going to be watching me live. So, and then everything seems to be getting back to normal little by little. So we're getting a crowd now. So I'm excited, you know. I'm just waiting for the day already.
And that's good, man. I mean, to be so focused and just to be so relaxed, that is key. In boxing, you know it as well as I know, you've got to be focused and you have to be relaxed.
Yes, that's one of the biggest things, you know. You got to be focused. That's the main one. And you relax. You can't be, you know, no worries about nothing. You know, you got to be concentrated on the 500% and just ready to go on.
Well, let's talk about that. I mean, first of all, it's only 5 minutes away from your house. So, I mean, you could probably walk down there to your fight, come fight night, right? But what do you do, Danny, to stay relaxed? What do you do to stay calm, you know, before that bell rings?
You know, I do different things. You know, I meditate a lot, rest up as much as I can. So the day will go by fast. That's what I'm doing right now. I read the Bible. I pray. And I try to keep myself focused, you know. If not, you know, picture the fight in my mind.
You know what I like about this show, Danny, is if you would have went on another show, and the minute you said Bible and pray, they probably would have did two things. Hey, we're going to take a commercial break, or hey, I want to talk about your new car. Or they would have just changed the subject right off the bat. But you know what? At the end of the day, when that trumpet blows, man, and if you're not ready, every knee shall bow, every tongue shall confess that Jesus Christ is Lord and Savior. And, I just want to say that right now because Jesus never turned his back on me. I'm not about to turn my back on him. And this platform, just last week, we rededicated it to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. We had a guest on there. His name was Ernesto Amador. And he said, man, Richard, you got to give the Lord the show. And, I started off giving it to him, and then you get sidetracked or you get, things come up. But I want to remember where I need to be and where I need to keep my feet, and that's on the ground. And know all that I have is because of him. All that we have, rather.
Yes, I agree with you on that. I mean, I'm a believer too. I believe on Jesus Christ. And, I'm thankful. Everything I got is because of him. We can only do so much, but he gives us the strength to keep on going forward.
Talking about the strength of going forward, I can't sometimes wrap my head around it. Danny, you weren't just a one-time champion. You were a unified world champion, and you're still young enough to reclaim those belts. Actually, you just had celebrated a birthday, right? You turned 24 again?
No, I'm 31 already.
You look young, man. Now I know where you get the nickname Babyface Assassin.
Thank you. Yeah, it was yesterday, Monday, May 10. I mean, I can't do much, because my mind is focused in the fight.
Absolutely.
So after all this, everything goes good on Saturday. It'll be time to celebrate. But right now, my mind is focused on this, and it's a step closer to achieving my goal once again and get back on top.
Exactly, man. And if I hear you're gonna have barbecue or some tortillas, bro, I'm gonna hit you up for that address, bro. I'll fly down there just for a taco and fly back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mexicans like to eat. You know that.
Yes, we do. We'll see what they got planned for me. If not, I'll request a few stuff.
Yeah, no, just having some fun with you, my man. But no, there'll be time to celebrate, and this comes with the sport. I mean, this comes with because there is no season in boxing. It's all year round, and it's part of the dedication. It's part of the determination that's required to get ahead and step ahead. Now, if you're victorious, if and when you are victorious this Saturday, how close are you to getting that knock on the door, that phone call that says, "Hey, you're going to challenge for one of these belts"?
Well, back in September, my last fight, I won the mandatory against Payano, and that made me the mandatory fight for the WBC, which won that night. It was really Nettie. So hopefully after the winner of that night, Nettie versus Figueroa, they could give me the opportunity. I earned it, and and hopefully it'll happen before the year ends.
So right after the fight's over, you're definitely going to tune in, and you're going to be not just a fan, but you're going to be a scout on that main event.
I am. I got to look out for what's going to come up in front of me.
Exactly. And, without looking ahead, man, you do respect the man that is on across from you. What have we done differently this time around because of the whole COVID? And now that we talked about it earlier in the show, that it's starting to free up a little bit. I mean, you're able to do a little bit more workouts as opposed to being closed in, although you will be entering the bubble tomorrow, correct?
Yes. I mean, it was a good training camp. It was a lot better from the one before. Everything seems to be getting back to normal little by little. Gyms are opening back again, so it was a few different sparring this time, and it wasn't as hard as it was for my last fight. So it was a good camp. I did a great preparation for this Espinosa, my opponent, and I had fun. I worked hard, and I'm ready to show it all on Saturday night, and it's been good. Can't complain.
Let's talk briefly about your opponent. What exactly do you know about him, and how you prepared yourself for whatever arsenal he decides to bring this Saturday?
Ricardo Espinosa, he's a tough fighter. He got a high KO rate, knockout ratio. I mean, the guy can hit, but we're not planning on going toe to toe with him. But I gotta be the smart guy. I gotta figure him out, break him down, and do the smart fight.
Well, you know what? I hear you say that, and what you don't see is after the show, leading up to Saturday, I'm gonna be biting my nails, man. I mean, because when I watch all the fighters that I have on the show, I'm so nervous. I'm so animated, and those that are here in the studio, that they can co-sign and tell you, yeah, I get pretty. Hey, man, get him, or did you see him? Or yeah, I want to text him right now, and I go, no, I'm gonna let him relax, enjoy his moment, or I'll just say congratulations. But I'm just like a kid in a candy store. I mean, I really am when I'm watching the fight. I mean, I'll be tuning in this Saturday and watching with you, and I'll be rolling the punches as well. And when you raise your hands, a part of me raises my hands, and that's what I told Jose Ramirez. And I'm gonna get your take on that. I'll give you an example. When Jose won the bout, Jose Ramirez from Avenal, when I met him at the airport when he won his first world title, which we're going to be talking about later on in the show. And I said, Jose, that bout that you have is a beautiful bout, but it doesn't just belong to you. It belongs to us too, because I told him, and I told him numerous times, you're our voice piece. You're the most positive thing we have in our area, which is the Fresno, California. So you are truly the people's champion. So being that said, when you're in there, and you just spoke on it earlier, your friends and your family will be attending. I mean, they're a part of you inside of that ring as well. Is that safe to say?
Yes, yes, of course, because they've been there since day one, and like we got my family, everybody's in it with me. They know the sacrifice I've been through, and they know what my body's been through, and what I've been through before getting there to the fight. So I mean, if I win, we all win, because it's not just my victory; it's all of our victory. Everybody that supports me.
Absolutely, man. Without giving too much away, I'm not going to go into game plan because I don't feel comfortable doing so. But what song are you going to be coming into?
You know what? I think I'm gonna change it. I'm not coming to Vicente Fernandez. I'll look for a song.
Oh,
I
there
still
you
got
go.
that in my mind. It should be a surprise.
Okay, there you go. There you go. That's what I like. So, what wardrobe? What colors are you wearing? And who did your wardrobe coming out this fight?
Aguilera did it. It's gonna be black and gold
There you
with
go.
Mexican and American flag on the side.
Oh, that's what I'm talking
It'll
about.
look nice.
Yeah, like De La Hoya back in the day when he made his pro debut with the Mexican in the American flag in both gloves when he made his pro debut with the LA Coliseum, I believe it was.
It'll look nice.
I'm looking forward to it, man. One thing I was looking forward to, it was last weekend. It took place, man. What was your take on the whole fight with Canelo and leading up to it, the insults that were taking place, and then the aftermath? What's your take on there as a fighter, a viewer, and a fan?
As an insult, man, I mean, everybody's different,
Yeah.
I'm usually the calm guy, let my hands talk, do the talking. But it works for everybody different, I could tell you about the fight, Canelo's a strong guy, man. I don't see anybody beating him at that division, and he learned a lot. He improved a lot. All surprised of his power. He broke the orbital from
Yeah.
So and he was doing good. What's his name? I
Billy
just
Joe Saunders.
Yeah, Sanders was doing good. He was coming up. He was doing
Yeah.
good boxing, but Canelo timed it with the uppercut, and I mean, some people might say he quit, but like what? The only one that can feel that pain is the one that's in the ring.
Absolutely.
And I believe health comes first. You
Yeah,
gotta take care
absolutely.
of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, I mean, nobody knows what you're going through unless yourself. So I mean, he did that call. Some people might call him coward. We're usually I'm talking as a Mexican, as a warrior. You usually try to die in the ring, But by the end of the day, you're the one that leaves home with the injuries. So you gotta you gotta look out for your health. And seeing that Canelo broke the orbital bone on him, it is serious. Anything can happen. He could probably go blind if he kept on going. So we don't want that. We want to entertain the people, but at the same time, we got to look out for our health.
Exactly, because there is life after boxing, and you got to make sure also. Sometimes you got to move pride out of the way, and it starts to take over, and just that competitive spirit as well. I don't have any mixed reactions as far as, oh, I'm going to call him a quitter. I said what I said because of the insults leading up to it, but at the end of the day, I wasn't a doctor. I didn't know the serious of the injury. Being that said, I probably would have said some different things. And, I'm keeping it real and telling the truth, because leading up to it, he did make some predictions, and he did kind of get, I don't want to say got under the skin of Canelo, because he was pretty cool. I use the phrase, don't wake up a sleeping giant, let him sleep.
No, I mean, I don't think anybody expected that
Yeah.
that he got his eye socket broken.
Yeah.
But like we, most of the guys thought, you know what, is he's just complaining by a little bruise, a little black eye. Like now we know the truth. So
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
respect
Well,
to
yeah.
Canelo. He's a strong guy, and to Sanders, they gave a good fight. They were giving a good fight
Yeah. Yeah. They were.
in my eyes. Yeah.
They were. But I will say this, and yeah, I normally don't go there. I'm not going to say names, or I'm not going to say who's the bad uh, commentators are out there. But I will say this: I don't know what fight they were watching for them to say they had Billy Joe Saunders ahead on the cards. For some to say that leading up before the stoppage, I mean, that's we're trying to eliminate bad judges. We're trying to eliminate bad commentating because it does persuade the judges. I don't care what anybody says, that they can hear some things going on, and they're kind of influenced by it. But at the end of the day, that's why it's very safe, Daniel, that you're very smart and you bring your own two judges with you.
It's true. I agree with you on that. It's the best decision is don't leave it to the judges. If you could take them out, take them out. So I learned from my last loss. So you can't leave it in the hand of the judges because you gotta either way you gotta respect their decision.
Yeah,
Next time,
absolutely.
don't leave it in nobody's hands.
Yeah, yeah, or you do your best as well. You don't want to get too caught up in it because then you're not focused in the task at hand. Now, speaking of being focused, the last time I had you on the show was pretty close to about a year ago. And you were very focused and you were very determined, just as you are now. And I can see now, because earlier you were smiling, but I can see now that you got that fight face on you. You're ready to go. You're waiting for that first bell.
I am, since even like maybe like 2 weeks ago, I was already. It gets tired, the waiting.
Yeah.
It's fight week now, so I'm excited too. But at the same time, my mind is focused and what I gotta do, and my eyes is looking straight to the goal.
Talk to us about a life of the fighter, especially not so much just in the bubble, but week of the fight. I mean, media obligations. What are those like? I mean, I know you got what? Do you have a media workout? Do you got a press conference? Of course, you got the weigh-in. Is that all planned out? And how do you adjust to it and to stay focused, especially when you see your opponent just standing literally feet away from you?
I'm not sure if we're gonna have a media workout. I'm not sure about that, but I know that it's gonna be a press conference,
Right.
and I'm gonna see the guy right there, like maybe like a few feet away from me. I mean, uh, I don't feel nothing, against them, because I know
Yeah.
it's a sport.
Right.
But I wish them luck and let the best man win. And let's give these people a good fight. That's usually what I tell them. Good luck, and let's give these people what they want to see. They want to see a good fight, and let's give it all. Let's leave it
That's
all in the ring.
that's some great sportsmanship right there, man. I don't know if I'd be giving away all that advice, but but no, I mean, at the end of the day, you guys are sportsmen, and you guys are professionals.
Yes, and like me, I know during during that week, you just want to get it over with.
Yeah.
Whatever you got to do, the media, the press conference, all this stuff, you're just trying to get it over with. And I mean, I don't struggle with the weight, but like the little that I do, I got like an idea how all these fighters go through. Losing all that weight.
Yeah.
So it gets you moody, gets you don't feel like 100%, but like you just want all that to go away, and let's weigh in.
Yeah, you talked about that because I've watched some media and they actually want to get interviews after the weigh-in, and I'm thinking, bro, they'll smile with you. They need to eat, man. I mean, there's certain times you got to respect a fighter's privacy. I know he's a role model. I know he's signed up for this. I know he's on TV and kids look up to him. But there's certain time a fighter needs to be a fighter, and that's being just from the weigh-in, refueling his body, and me self eye time. And I'm going to ask you about that. When do you feel that transition come on? I mean, as far as like putting that switch on and like, hey, I'm ready to go because I'm a lion right now and I'm moody and I'm hungry and I really don't want to deal with all this, all what's going on. You got your obligations, but at the end of the day, you also got your obligation to yourself.
Yes, well, for me, usually the week of the fight, like what, I don't want to do none of this interviews, but we got to do it.
Yes.
We got so like usually we set up a good time for it, and if not, like what, I got to suck it up and I got to do this. you know, and I still gotta keep myself focused. So even during the weigh-ins, you know, like you're just waiting, like, damn man, like what time's gonna be the weigh-in? Because it's not mostly because you're like dead hungry, but like that emotion of waiting, you know,
Yeah,
like damn man, like let's get it over with, you know. It's a step
exactly.
closer to the fight. And
Exactly. But I know one interview you love to do, and that's always with the fighter's voice, my man. So I'm not even
that's
worried
right.
about that, man. The only voice that matters, man, and the only fighter that matters right now is Danny, the babyface assassin. I mean, I'm going to ask you this, but it's a kind of ridiculous question because I can see where it came from. But I'm going to ask you again: how did that nickname come about?
Well, before I turned pro, they used to call me Chapito, which means little. And you know, I told my managers like, you know what, like give me a professional name. Now that I'm gonna go
Yeah,
professional, give me a
yeah.
professional name. So he thought about it. He came in the next day. He was like, you know what, you got a baby face and you're assassin in the ring. So we're gonna call you babyface assassin. And of honor of Marco Antonio Barrera,
Oh yeah.
yeah, the original babyface assassin.
Absolutely, absolutely a legend as
Yes.
well. Let's talk about your management team, man. I mean, you got a great management team. You got a great team behind you. How close are you inside of the ring, and how much is it just business, or is there a real strong bond there?
No, it is a really strong bond with me and my team. We're like family. We started
Great.
since the beginning, and you know we're planning on living together. You know, and stuff happens in between, but you know what? We
That's
work
part
through
of it.
it, and it doesn't mean you got to give up on your team. You know, we all came up together. Let's all finish together. That's what I think.
No, that's a correct answer. I almost just gave you an alley oop just so you can slam dunk that question because I like to refer back to Eddie Reynoso because after the Mayweather loss, a lot of people were pointing fingers because one of the game plan, two, maybe he needs an American trainer, and all those naysayers back then. I mean, where are they now? I mean, this guy is literally on fire. He is the one of the hottest trainers in the world, if not the hottest. You still got your Freddie Roaches, your Robert Garcias, as well as your trainer, your Buddy McGirts, and the legendary late great Emmanuel Stewart.
I mean, I respect every fighter's decision. You know, at the
Right.
end of the day, they gotta do what they think is right. For me, doing right is, you know what? If this trainers did it, what's stopping us from doing it too? You know,
Exactly.
so we gotta work harder. Let's work harder, but we're gonna get there for sure. That's what I think.
Speaking of working harder, on a different network, on a different promotion, May 22nd, Top Rank Boxing, ESPN, we have with us the junior welterweight WBC, WBO world champion in Jose Ramirez. Now, from the UK, you have the IBF, the WBA in the Ring magazine, recognized as the former, not former, but the official champion. These guys are going to clash together, and we're going to find out. They're both undefeated. They're both Olympians. They're both in their prime. When that first bell rings, what can we expect in your eyes? What do you think is going to take place?
That might be one of the finals of the year. You know, because you got two
Absolutely.
champions facing each other, the best of the division, and who doesn't want to see that? You know. That was one of my goals when I was a champion. You know, like, hey, you know what? Let's go for the rest of the belts. And for them, it's gonna happen on May 22nd. So hey, you know what? Congrats and yeah, to Jose Ramirez, you know, give it all because I know Josh Taylor is gonna come with the same mentality. You know, to try to take those belts away. You know, and I wish both of them the best. You know, and but at the end of the day, I want to see a good fight. You know, that's what I want to see as a boxing fan. You know, that's a fight you can't miss. That's like those type of fights don't happen often. So, and it's
You're very
gonna be
right.
fireworks between them. So,
Dan, let me ask you this. Why are these two gentlemen so quick to agree to the fight, agree to the terms? I mean, what the holdup was the whole venue, the holdup was the whole coronavirus, the bubble, in fact. And yet we have Bud Crawford, yet we have Spence, and these fights aren't happening. Yet we have the Charlo brothers. I mean, they talk a good game that they want to fight Canelo, but when they ask for a 60-40 split, them being the A side, that's a good way of talking your way out of a fight. Now, why is it these two agreed to it? As
I
opposed to
mean,
the other two, they're just like, I mean, it's almost impossible to get a big fight done now.
well, sometimes that you got to do with boxing politics.
Yes.
But I believe if two fighters want to fight each other, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
They might not be looking for, like you said, 40-60, or they just go 50-50. Let's make this fight because they do it for legacy. They do it to
Yes.
see who's the best and to prove to the world, like what, I'm the best in this division, and I did what their dream is to become the undisputed champion.
Win, lose, or draw, you got to respect that the other man
Yes.
is putting everything on the line and dares himself to be great, dares himself to be called undefeated, undisputed, first ever. And Jose Ramirez says that he'll be the first Mexicano ever if he does unify. Josh Taylor will be the second in his country to unify. That is legacy. That is becoming a household name. That is looking back and saying, you know what, I didn't duck anybody. When the opportunity was there, it presented itself. I presented myself by grasping it and acknowledging the challenge I have in front of me. Somebody explained to me what courage is. And courage is, the way it was explained to me, someone that is fearful but does it anyway.
He don't, he knows, you know what, I'm gonna go for it. He don't even think about it twice.
Right.
He just does it. And I mean, you need that in life too. There's certain moments you gotta do that. You don't gotta look to the side. You just put your eyes forward and go. Take that step, and you even surprise yourself. You even surprise yourself with what you could do and what you could achieve as well.
Let me ask you this, because this seems to be the thing with undefeated fighters. They're afraid of risking that getting that first loss. I want to ask you, what have you learned, and how much have you learned since your first loss as a professional?
Oh, well, usually you learn more when you lose, especially that first loss.
Right.
And usually when you win, you tend to be, everything went good, I won, and you say, what, I did good. Nothing needs to be improved. But when you lose, it changes everything. It makes you learn even more. You see your mistakes more, like, what, you sit back, you take a step back, and you see, like, what happened, what I did wrong, what was my mistakes. And then when you tend to win, you forget about all this stuff. You just say, what, everything went good, I won, that's all I wanted. And there's there's always room to improvement. You can always do better. That's what I think.
No, I agree with you. Canelo became a better fighter after his first loss with Floyd Mayweather. And, it's hard to go undefeated. It's hard to hang up the gloves and without suffering a defeat or pretty damn near. But there's nothing like a life lesson. And one thing that I do know in boxing is Father Time is undefeated. And when I say that, I don't think Manny Pacquiao got the memo. I don't think he got the message, because he is still huffing and puffing. He still has speed. He still throws punches and bunches. And I know, out of respect for the big fight we have coming up with Jose Ramirez and Josh Taylor, look for an announcement to be made soon. Who do you think Manny Pacquiao is going to share the ring with, and why? And what would be a good way? Because he proclaimed that it's possibly his last fight.
He's welterweight, right?
Yes, yeah. I mean, with the likes of, there's Bud Crawford and there's Spence, there's Regis Prograis may move up to welterweight. I know he struggled a little bit on his last fight. You got Mikey Garcia, who's been a name that's been mentioned, sharing the ring with Manny Pacquiao.
That's a good question, man. If he's thinking of making it his last fight, well, you got a lot of big names in 147.
Agree.
It'll be hard for me to say it at the top of my head right now. There's a lot of plenty of good fighters at 47. I'm gonna have to skip that one. But
well, there's a lot of dogs out there too, man.
Yeah, and because Manny Pacquiao is a legend already, man. He achieved a lot, and he's still achieving. He's still going. So hats off to him, and especially at his age, he's still going at it. Same speed, same power. I mean, wow. I wish him the best, man. Whoever he is, whoever he's fighting, I know it's gonna be a good fight for sure.
I agree with you. Let's talk about your legacy. How do you want to be remembered, and what unfinished business do you have out there that you want to other goals in boxing that you want to accomplish before it's all said and done?
Well, I take it a step at a time, hopefully, I'm not overlooking my opponent this Saturday night, Espinosa. Hopefully, everything goes good with him. And after this fight, I would like to challenge the champion. Get that title shot. And after that, we'll take it one step at a time. If not, I still got the finished business with MJ, my recent loss.
Yeah.
I still want to fight him.
I was going to bring that
still
up
got
too, but
that.
I want to keep you focused. I figured there was something there out there still.
I still got that in mind. I still tengo esa espinita. So,
Yeah.
I still got that finished business, but you know what? My mind is focused right now on the guys in front of me, and the guy that's in front of me is Ricardo Espinosa.
That's one thing about a true professional, respecting your opponent and staying focused on the task at hand. Again, we moved on from this because, you said it is going to be a good fight, the Jose Ramirez and the Josh Taylor fight. Now, I will say this. I mean, Eddie Hearn is just on fire as a promoter. I mean, he seems to be so, how can I say, what's the word that I'm looking for? Every other weekend, he's putting on a show. And he just continues to reinvent himself as a promoter. When I say that, is right when you think a fight can be made, it's going to be made. Now I'm hearing Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury have verbally agreed, and it's going to take place in August, either August 7th or the 14th.
Mm-hmm.
What's your take on that heavyweight matchup to be a unified matchup, finally going to take place and finally announced? It hasn't been announced officially, but I always think it's officially once the bottom of ESPN where it says it on the bar, I'm thinking, okay, now it's official.
Well, I thought it wasn't gonna happen, honestly, because they weren't agreeing on anything. So if it does happen,
it was just announced today that they came to an agreement. Yes.
Is it like for all the titles?
All the titles. Yeah, that was per Eddie Hearn.
I was surprised with Tyson Fury against Walter's fight. He knocked him out and got him tired. I mean, I won't be surprised if he pulls it off because Anthony Joshua, he came back with Andy Reese.
Yes.
He did a good fight. He fought him good. So, I mean, it depends on who wants it more, who wants to win more, who does the proper adjustments during the fight. And I mean, it'll be a good fight for sure, especially heavyweights. That's a weight I'm never gonna fight in.
Yeah, that'll be a difficult task. When do you become a fan? When do you ever just show up to a fight and say, you know what, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to relax and I'm going to watch two entertainers entertain the crowd?
You know what? It's kind of rare for me to do that. I just did it this past weekend because I was home and I saw the Canelo and Sanders fight. And but usually when I'm out of boxing, I usually try to stay out of boxing, keep my mind focused on something else because I know coming back Monday again, I'll be back on it. But like if it's like for sure, I'm gonna see the Taylor and Ramirez fight, like fights like that,
Yeah.
There's two great fighters going at it, risking it all. And that's the type of fights you want to see. You want to see even fights.
Well, if all goes well, tentatively, verbally, we're supposed to have Josh Taylor and also his manager, Ben Davison, on the show. So I'm looking forward to that. If in fact it does take place on Thursday, and I know, you really can't take it personal if it doesn't because, they got a big fight, and
Yes.
there's certain times that they just want to just, hey, put a haul on the media and just say, hey, you know what, we're just going to go ahead and pack it up. It's getting ready to become fight week, and our focus is going to be there. So no harm, no foul. But if that does take place, man, I'm going to text you and ask you for a question. I'll use your question on the show, man, because I know you'll
Right.
probably have one. So just to make it more
Yeah.
more intriguing.
Sounds good.
So listen, man, when you're not out training or you're not out winning belts, what does Danny like to do, man? Is it fishing, watching football? watching movies, or what is it you like to do on your leisure time?
When I get a free time, especially after a fight, I try to spend time with my family. Spend time with my family. Try to catch up with them because usually I don't see them. Usually I don't see them when I'm training.
Yeah.
And busy with all this stuff, and especially with the pandemic going on.
Yeah.
You try to stay away from people, from big crowds.
Right.
And so I try to catch up with them. If not, I'll be in church, helping the youth, and like reading the Bible. I read a lot. I like to read a lot of different books, especially the Bible. I mean, there's always something new to learn, So either that, or I'll catch up with friends.
There you go. There you go.
Priorities first, family.
Absolutely. My man, tell us in 30 seconds before I let you go, what can we expect from all the fans, the followers, and the supporters come this Saturday when the bell rings? If you want, you can say hello. We got Hector Macho Camacho Jr., who's going to be joining us shortly as you exit. And I don't want to keep you too long. You're more than welcome to stay, but I know you're going to be going to the bubble and there's other obligations, and I want to give you your free time. I don't want to be the one if there's a hiccup because of me, but what can the fans expect once that bell rings?
Oh, you know what? If you could go to the fight on Saturday night in Carson, if you're local, go, man. It'll be a great night. If not, check me out on Showtime. I'll keep you guys updated on social media, Instagram _babyfaceassassin _, and on Twitter, Team Roman Boxing. I'll keep everybody updated with what's going on, and expect fireworks on Saturday. I'm going against a great fighter, Ricardo Espinosa, and you know what? Let's give it all, and it's a step closer to getting to my goal and achieving going back to where I was, becoming a champion.
Well, I tell you what, I'm going to be tuned in, and I'm going to be wearing this shirt. I'm going to be rocking this shirt this Saturday. That's for sure. Hey, we wish you all the best. You know what? After you get off the phone, text me a question for Hector Macho Camacho Jr., and I'll address it on the air. I want to let you go, champ, because I know you got to rest. I want to thank your management team. I want to thank your promotion team. And most of all, I want to thank you just for yourself taking the time and coming on the Fighter's Voice. Every fighter has a voice, and so do you. And it's a wrap, and we'll see you this Saturday, my man.
Thank you, Richie. Take care.
Okay. You got it, my man. You got it. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank Danny Roman for coming on Fight Week. I mean, a lot of fighters, they really need their time when it comes to Fight Week. They got to prepare themselves. They got other obligations, or they just want to just flat out rest. But, he decided to come on the show, and we welcome him on the show. And he's always a treat, and he's always one of our fan favorites. Now, coming onto the show, this gentleman needs no introduction wherever he goes. Wherever he goes, it's always time. It's always macho time. Since he was a little kid, even before he was born, it was macho time. And we're talking about, if I just call him a professional legend or professional boxer, I don't want to do anybody an injustice, and I want to do it properly, ladies and gentlemen. And he is a son of a living legend. Let's correct that, because we all know this has not went away. The son of a living legend, ladies and gentlemen, Hector Macho Camacho Jr. Welcome to the Fighter's Voice, my man.
It's Macho time. The Fighter's Voice, your only voice for your MMA boxing action. What's up, Rich?
Hey, what's happening, my man? I mean, I'm looking at you, and you're looking trim, man. Yeah. I can tell on your face, that weight, you're cutting it.
I'm working, brother, putting that work in, man. It's a huge opportunity for me, a huge fight exhibition, but it means a lot to me. It's a legendary fight, got two big names, Camacho, Chavez.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to do my best for my legacy and my father's legacy.
Absolutely. But you know what? I'm going to talk to you about a fight that's coming this Saturday, man. I mean, I want your expertise on this. I want you to break it down. We've talked about it off camera, and we're going to break it down. Instead of just saying, I think it's going to be this way or that way. We're going to break it down completely on what Josh Taylor needs to do to be successful. We're going to talk about the first part of the fight, and then we're going to talk about the second half of the fight. If in fact it does make it to the second half, who makes the transition, who imposed their will, and who, as if to say, hey, I'm going to dare myself to be great. I'm going to risk my all, because that's what it's going to take. This is not checkers. This is going to be chess right off the bat. It's going to be fireworks right off the bat. You got two Olympians in their prime, two professionals in their prime, undefeated, two world champions. They went to sleep when they were a little kid and dreamed of this day. That bell is going to ring. We're in Josh Taylor's corner right now. What does Josh Taylor need to do to transition himself to the pressure that Jose Ramirez brings? And in fact, are we going to see a boxing match, or are we going to see an out brawl?
You know, interesting, Rich. I think I asked you this question about 2 weeks ago about when it came to Chavez. What should I do? Should I box or should I brawl? You told me, Macho, I don't think you have a choice. In this case, I don't think Josh has a choice but to fight off Jose Ramirez, because he's going to bring it. And he's going to be on from the first round to the last round. The boy's in shape. Boy's hungry, coming to fight. It's an historic event for both fighters, man. So, you know, it's going to be tough, man. I think Josh has to fight him. He's the bigger person. Put his weight on it. Be the bigger guy. Of course, use his jab, but fight him off, because you're not going to just blow Jose off. He's coming. The aggressiveness is coming.
So if in fact it does make it past the first half of the fight, now, is that their plan, just to fight him off? When do they impose their will on Team Ramirez? And what do they need to do to have that freedom to do so? Because Jose's just not going to say, okay, go for it.
What will happen if Josh lands shots early? And that's the only thing I have to fight him up. Landing shots early. Let Jose know, hey, I'm here to fight. I'm the bigger man. And push him back. Stand his ground. It's a thing of moving too much. It showed the other fighters sometimes, you know what? He's afraid of me. Or I got him moving. I got him edgy feet. You got to stand your ground and fight this guy off and touch him. Touch him from the first round on. Keep touching him. I like what you said, if it passes the first half of the fight, because there's a lot of fireworks, man. This is a great fight for the boxing fan, for boxing in general. These ain't too big names, but hey, this kind of fight is what boxing needs.
Well, the winner is going to come home with a huge name. That is, in fact, going to take place and going to happen. And, you know, I want to thank Top Rank Boxing and ESPN for having the venue as far as the network. But Top Rank Boxing, they have a fight in their hands, and they refuse to let it slip by. And also the whole promotion company, they're putting it together. Less than a week, it's going to take place. Mach, it is the second half of the fight now. Now, is Josh Taylor, you said something earlier, to fight him off. Now, are we trying to just survive, or are we trying to win?
We're trying to win. If I'm Josh, I'm trying to fight him off, land the biggest shots. I believe Josh got the height. He should be the bigger person. Fight him off. You got to land some good shots on him. You got to let this guy know, listen, you just walk into me. You don't get caught walking in. You keep that stick in front of him and give him little angles. Fight him for little angles. All depends on the ring size, what's going on. And watch each other's strategy. I don't see Jose doing anything else but coming forward, putting that pressure on. So Josh got to fight him. He got to fight him. Tell him, this is my home. This is my ring right now. This is my ring tonight. If he fights him off early, the second half will be pretty much a breeze for him. Now, if he can't take that aggressive pressure, it might be an early night. Jose do got some pop in his hands. And we know the Fresno boys train, man. They train in butt off. They come in shape.
You're absolutely right. I will say this before we leave the Taylor's camp. Let's go into the Ramirez camp. How do you think they're preparing themselves to not only fight a crafty southpaw, but a very busy southpaw? I mean, when I say busy, the man he's also a racehorse. He's also has the energy and has the stamina to continue to be strong, as he showed against Regis Prograis in the second half of the fight. How does Jose transition himself if he does not have his way with the southpaw? Let's not forget, it's Taylor is a southpaw.
Yeah. I mean, you know, when you mention a fighter throwing in bunches, when they throw in punches, they leave themselves open for counter shots. It's hard to throw punches and defend at the same time.
Absolutely.
That might work in Jose's favor. If he pop shot him, he might have a better chance. But let him go in bunches, only opening up for counter opportunities for Jose. It all depends on the footing where the feet's at. The foot is very important. Where he stands, the angle, the little thing people don't see, but how you angle yourself. If you're a southpaw, how you angle yourself. I guess a guy charging forward. The check hooks are open. All depends which angle he takes and where he stands. It's a lot more than just like it's a chess match. It's a lot more than just throwing punches and that's it.
March, why do they always assume a southpaw is just going to be slick and slick only, but not hit you, but not touch you? Now, what does Josh Taylor need to do to not just be slick? You know, I mean, we said fight him off, but when does he take the initiative and say, "Hey, I'm the boss in this ring"? How does he do that?
Stand his ground, throw those hard shots, push him, which might be illegal in boxing, but you gotta push the guy off sometime. Create your own space in there. Fight him, but create your space. He had definitely had the height, the reach advantage. Fight him from that distance. As soon as he comes in, you gotta pop him. You gotta pay for the territory. You can't just come in on me. You have to pay for it. Let him know what it means, you know? If you let Jose walk into you a couple of times and you do nothing, hey, you give a man open space. Make him pay for every inch.
How important is it for that first collision, as if to say, "Okay, I'm not backing up. You're backing up." Is it okay to get on your bike and give angles as opposed to, "I'm not backing up. I'm just giving you angles, but I'm still creating my space and opening you up and setting a trap"? I mean, is it more strategic in a big fight than it is, hey, just a barn burner?
No, it is big time, big time. If you're giving me up, if I'm pushing you backwards, that means I'm pushing you backwards. Just a matter of time before I get to you. You can't build that. Either fighter cannot give the other fighter confidence in this point. You gotta snatch away from that, but you gotta snatch it from him on both sides. Whether it be Jose putting that pressure on, Josh Taker just can't hold on him and just hold them and break and go back to boxing. No, you gotta fight him off. Same thing with Josh Taylor. If Jose coming in, if he getting caught coming in, he gonna know I can't just walk in. I gotta move my head. I gotta slip. Don't get hit. It works on both sides, man. And that first clip, that first exchange means a lot.
What does Jose need to do to keep his composure? Because, you know, southpaws are pretty slick. They are pretty crafty. What is it that he needs to do differently? Is it start off with the jab, or is it the right hand lead? Or if it is the right hand lead, is it loading up on the right, or is it just touching him out there just so he can kind of get his angle and his timing?
I would say just touch it, get the distance, get the right distance, get that timing, feel him. At least put hands on him. I don't care if he blocks a punch in the arm and he blocks it. Touch him. Touch him. That's the main thing. Bang the arm. Bang something in his body. Don't look for that one perfect shot. Let him go. I mean, it's a great fight, Rich, man. This is a great fight, man. It's an even 50-50 fight the way I've seen it. It's hard to pick a winner.
Actually, Ramirez is the underdog going into this fight, Mach.
That's interesting. He must be hungry right now. Being a Mexican, unifying world championship at the victory, he must be hungry. He must be real hungry. But it's for me, it's a 50-50 fight. It's a 50-50 fight. Nothing was given to Jose. Jose earned this way where he's at through hard work.
Yeah.
And he just punching, you know, he's a good fighter. Jose's a damn good fighter.
Yes, he is.
Not just the fighter throw punches and bunches and that's it. No. He get the punches off right. He had a great cornerman. And then the fighters do win the fight. But in this particular fight, it's the corner's going to win the fight for them. Well, the best corner. We got Bobby Garcia, one of the best.
Yeah, yes. He has a lot of experience.
Oh, no, that helps big time. That helps big time. Know how to adjust, when to put it on, when to take off. Like those kind of things, that's a corner's job. The corner get the credit for that. But that's who win the fight at the end of the night, the corner in this kind of fight.
Mach, in a big fight like this, and say it's not going your way as a fighter, when do you shy away from instruction from the corner, or do you just fully commit and trust the corner? How hard is it to do that? Because your animal instincts just wants to go back to muscle memory. Because there's going to be a lot of questions asked this fight, but we don't know if we're going to get all the correct answers.
That's a tough question, Rich. That's a tough question. All depends on the fighter's IQ. A fighter got high IQ to say, you know what? Let me fight my fight. Let me see if this works. After all, the fight the one in there. They should know you in there. You should know the opponent's strength, his speed, his timing. You should know what's there. It all depends on the IQ. I mean, that's a tough one. That's a really tough question. If anybody would change their style and just fight another style, it would have to be Josh. Because I don't think Ramirez doing anything else but to put that pressure on and come to fight. So it really falls on what Josh Taylor going to do if it don't go his way. What he going to do?
That's a very
And
good
there's a
point.
myth. I don't know if there's a myth or there's facts out there that European fighters, you bang them to the body, they tend to shy up a little bit. I mean, I don't know.
You know, that's a very good illustration because, in fact, if Josh Taylor does change his style, it's only because he was either hurt or he has to transition away from that power and that body shot.
Yeah, because Jose going to bring it. I mean, that's not a question. And those Jose going to get tired. The boys in shape. Charles Tremblay, those boys are in shape.
You know what? I do want to say this because there's two sides of the coin here, and you know it's not the most popular, but I'm going to break it down like I know how. If in fact Josh Taylor does have success, look for that boxing IQ and look for that talent and look for that confidence to take over, especially if Jose is missing and just off just a bit. He's just not going to have you off. He's going to touch you with some more pop because the confidence is going to go up. And I would say after 6 complete rounds, if Josh Taylor is still in the fight, mission accomplished mentally to his team that we made it through the first 6 rounds. Now it's time to neutralize Jose's power. And how do you do that? By angles, by making him miss, by frustrating him, and now imposing your will. So it's very important that Jose's game plan, or at least maintains throughout the fight, and he doesn't become winded or frustrated because it can change the outcome of the fight. What's your take on my testimony right now?
No, you know, hey, Rich, I rarely talk boxing people off camera. You one of the few guys I talk boxing with because your IQ is high. You hit on the head. You just hit on the head of everything you said just now. 100% facts. 100% facts.
Well, Mach, sometimes I don't like being right, to be honest with you, because sometimes, you know, but that's the nature of the beast. And it is going to be exciting. And, you know, I can see, in reality, I can see, of course, I like to see Jose cut the ring off and bang to the body. But you got to remember, Josh Taylor, Team Taylor, did not come all the way from the UK to come down here, go to the ring and open up his legs. No, he came here to win 2 belts. He didn't come here to fight. He came here to win 2 belts. I've seen the look in his eye. It hasn't changed. The same look and same tenacity when he fought Regis Prograis. And these gentlemen are going to face each other for the first time next week and see each other face to face. They're going to be able to size each other up. Look for Team Taylor to be very verbal, very, that's their tactics. That's just the way they are. They try to get you off your game plan. They try to frustrate you. Now, being that said, Mats, that works for your average Joe. That works for your average fighter. That works for maybe your strong fighters that you take them into the second half of the fight, they can't make the transition. Team Ramirez has been prepared for these opportunities, these big fights since he was 8 years old. There's certain people that are born and they continue to learn, but when it's in your pedigree, when it's in your DNA, and you have arguably, if not the best team in the world, Charles Tremblay, Robert Garcia, Pita, management team, Rick Meridian, family, Luis Ramirez, father Carlos Ramirez, and now the motivation of Jose's new daughter, knowing that Jose is the hometown hero, not just in Fresno and Avenal, but now in Las Vegas, Nevada, because Josh is coming across to Jose's territory. But being that said, I still think it's going to be a rock'em sock'em fight, and we will enter the 10th round, and then we're going to find out who wins the championship rounds. That's just what I'm feeling so far until I see something at the weigh-in or something at the press conference.
I can't see the fight going any other way. That's when this is one of the best fights for boxing itself. It's great for boxing. It's great for boxing fans. You want a great fight? This is it. They don't go at it. It's a lot on the line. Unification. A lot on the line. Like you said, Jose didn't come this far for this to leave it behind now. And so Josh Taylor didn't either. They're both in their prime. This is a huge boxing match.
We're
You're
at the
gonna see a
press.
war.
We're at the press conference. We're going to be at the weigh-in. You get to see your opponent for the very first time. You get to size them up. Macho, from your experience, what are we looking for? And what can we see?
I like to play mind games. I like to see where they at, how they react, if they tense. I like to touch my opponent. Like for example, I had a face with Chavez not so long ago, and I asked Chavez, come with me. I want to talk to you quick. Show me that hook to the body that you think you're gonna land. I want to see how you think you're gonna land it on me. And he smiled at me. But he looked at me, he said I was serious. Just mind games that you gotta do. Sometimes, you want to come off and try somebody. Sometimes you want to take it serious. It all depends, man. But a weakness will show. Something will show either fighter, the face off. Something you will expose something there. You can feel it in the air, like the this guy, he's coming ready. He's ready. You feel what's there. It doesn't happen to the face off. You look at each other, you feel the tension. Like, this guy coming to fight. Or this guy, he shied off from the look, the face down, he shied off a little bit. Something with either man gonna know something come face off.
Who starts talking first?
Jose had to talk with his hands.
Yeah.
Josh Taylor, it's another guy as well. It's an interesting fight. It's a very interesting fight, man. It could go either way. Like I said, maybe Jose will have a hard time finding his timing with a guy that move, guy that's slick, or maybe Jose beyond that night and everything he throws, it will come close to landing. It depends on Jose. Tell you the truth, which fight is gonna go, how we're gonna go. It all depends on Jose. Not much is Josh. All depends on Jose. You know what Jose brings to the table.
Let me ask you this. Say it goes the way that Team Ramirez wants it to go early part of the fight, and say Josh does have to overcome some adversity, maybe being hurt or feeling the power in the first half of the fight. What are the questions he asks himself? How does he convince himself to get off the stool and continue trying to win and continue to trying to put himself out there, but yet give him the opportunity to also land big punches?
But if it comes down to that, if he gets touched in the first half of the fight to the body, which I'm assuming, then second half of the fight, what the hell am I gonna do now? Do I have the legs to box? How am I gonna keep this guy off me now? This guy gonna kick another gear. Conditions coming. It's tough. Josh have to win the early round and fight him off. Then I'm gonna listen. That's just gonna walk in on me. You have to pay to come in. And if that happens, he might be able to move around toward the late rounds, box, pop shot him there. But the early rounds, you have to fight Jose off. The only way to gain Jose respect, and I'm gonna listen. Josh got a little decent pop himself as well, You gotta let Jose feel it. Like, you just walk in. Little shots, man. The fighter eyes swells up or little things. You gotta bang the body, you gotta hit the uppercuts, hit the hooks, keep the jab in his face. There's a lot of little things in there, a lot of little tangibles that matters in the first early rounds.
Being that said, what it happens after 6 rounds and Josh Taylor is just so elusive? It's no longer a game plan by Team Ramirez. It starts to set into frustration. How does he convince himself in the second half of the fight to, okay, whatever we were doing before is not working. How do I transition myself? What do I need to do? Does he have to abandon the game plan and just go in there reckless?
Well, if that happens, it's an easy night for Josh Taylor. If he got the victory. If he's landing early shots early on, Jose gonna start getting desperate, open himself up, and it works in Josh Taylor's favor. That's what I'm saying. The early rounds are very important. Neither man who just give away rounds starting up the fight. I don't think we know feeling process here. You got to fight from the beginning. We know feeling process here, and not in this fight kind of fight. No. From the beginning, they're going at it. They're going at it. We might be seeing a classic. This might be a classic fight. The styles are made up for that.
I'm going to get a quote from a gentleman right now, and then we're going to move on. So hold on to that statement, because once we do that, I'm going to move on, and then we're not going to look back. I will say this. Me personally, some of my posts were frowned upon, Hector. Because I did post some things on for Josh Taylor. I did post some things as well as giving him some props as well as Tyson Fury. And let me say this again until I'm blue in the face, okay? I'm of Mexican descent. doesn't mean I only interview Mexican fighters. That's not what the whole show is all about. I interview Cuban fighters, white fighters, UK fighters, you name it, from down under fighters, anybody
fighters
that fits into the sweet science. Okay, so let's get that clear right now. Okay, because I don't want to deal with it anymore. And there's a great chance of Josh Taylor being on the show this Thursday, which he's going to get my 100% support. So being that said, I will say this. If that fight goes the distance, Jose Ramirez does not get that decision. And I'm going to say that, and I'm going to piss off a lot of judges. I'm going to get into boxing politics, and that's not what I choose to do. And you know it as well as I know it, Mach. You've been on different decisions like that, on different outcomes. Jose Ramirez is going to have to just apply that pressure. He's going to have to hurt him, and he's going to have to relieve Josh Taylor of his duties and take over and announce himself as the winner. Because if that fight completes 12 rounds, I just don't feel that Jose Ramirez will be victorious if it does go the distance. That's why Team Ramirez is a throwback from the days of the Kronk Gym Emmanuel Stewart, who was one of the only few trainers ever to train his fighter for a knockout. They are trained, Macho, they are training for the knockout. I'm going to say it again. Team Ramirez is training for the knockout.
Gotta make a statement, like you said. When you talk about that, you got one guy who has a whole country behind him.
Yes.
A whole country behind him. And
a lot of numbers.
These European fans, they come down in masses for their fighters.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Being a promoter, as a business side of it, because boxing no longer just a sport, it's a business. You want the guy that can bring masses of people coming down. I guess a guy who has a city behind him compared to a guy who has a whole country behind him. So it's business.
You know what? This is the untold story, and this is the ugly truth of boxing, Mach. I mean, if you want some tall tales, go to another podcast. If you want the damn truth, you're going to stay here on the Fighter's Voice, because every fighter does have a voice, and so do you.
And listen to things you're not going to like, which is definitely the truth.
Absolutely. I will say this, though. This fight sold out in less than 5 minutes, completely sold out. When I got the email that says, hey, you can now purchase your ticket, I send it to everybody because everybody thinks that I'm some kind of, that I got tickets in my back pocket all the time, okay? And I send out the email, hey, guys, hey, try to get your tickets, man. And, oh, they were excited. And, hey, if I get my ticket, we're going to Vegas. And they said, hey, we couldn't even get on. Those things were gone. It sold out in about 5 minutes, completely out, gone.
That says a lot about Josh Taylor. It says a lot about David Ramirez. It says a lot about the fight itself. It
says a lot about the whole promotion team, top rank, ESPN, Las Vegas. I mean, boxing is back where it needs to be. Yeah. And I'm going to say this, and I don't want to offend anybody, Mach, but I'm going to say just the way it is. Do I have your permission to do so?
Of course, brother.
This is the biggest little fight in the world. When I say little, that's because of the men, their stature, their weight. That doesn't mean that their names are little or their countries are little. This is the biggest little fight in the world.
And with two of the biggest boxing crowds.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mexico, it's huge. You know, I'm surprised. Me as a fighter, I'm looking forward to this fight. I'm looking forward to sitting down my popcorn and watching this fight, watching the strategies, watching the corners, and watching two guys perform.
Absolutely.
It's for the top 4 major world championships. I mean, hey, this is all it.
When I'm watching this fight and covering this fight, I don't want to hear from anybody. Don't distract me. I'm looking for a look. I'm looking for something. I'm looking for something that I can see, that I can identify, that other people can't see. The ones that are talking and distracting you is because they don't care. They don't see what we see, Mach. I'm not in the ring swapping punches, but I know what I see, and I know what I feel, and I know what I know.
And they're going to start from early on. From the first bell, bing, that's when it starts. I can tell from the first round who should win the fight. That's just boxing.
I'm so excited. I am so excited. I get goosebumps talking about this.
Even the look at them when they're walking towards the ring. If you know your boxing, you can tell. You can read their body sign. You can read it.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
I'm looking forward to all that. I don't mind talking to me either. No phone calls. my phone off. Don't call me. Let me talk to you while
Absolutely.
the fight's on. Let me watch the fight. If this is a
Absolutely.
fight, as a fight, you can learn and watch.
Absolutely. You know, when I see a fighter look into a crowd, I'll see him glance, but if I see him look out in the crowd, he has no business looking out the crowd. You need to be focused at the task in hand. If he's over there pumping himself up, it's too late. You should have been doing that a long time ago. If you're trying to convince yourself today, day of the fight, my man, it's too late. You took the fight. You're trying to pump yourself up and become that extra whatever that you should have had in the dressing room or you should have had on the pin when you signed that contract. A lot of people don't understand that. Absolutely.
I seen the last week with Billy Joe. I
Yeah.
said, no, he trying to convince himself.
Yeah.
He's way over his head. He see the thousands of fans up there. It's those little things that regular people don't understand. You gotta be committed to the boxing game to understand these things.
I can't wait.
You could tell a fighter's made not ready by his sweat, by the sweat of his body. Oh, yeah, he's
Yes.
warmed up. He's ready. It's
His
little
lips.
things, man.
His lips on that weigh-in, his
The
lips.
art of boxing.
Absolutely.
It's just
Absolutely.
dehydrated little things.
You know what? We need to
Boxing
write a
is
book.
a
We
sport,
need
man.
we need to write a
It's
book
a
together.
sport.
We need to write a book together called The Little Things in Boxing.
Hey,
We do. We need to get
you
together
will
on
amaze
that.
with that.
We need to.
Pick up. Just the
Now
small
listen.
things you pick up, man. The small little things you pick up.
Exactly. I'm going to be heading to Vegas for that fight, and I'm going to be doing the show. Thursday show is going to be live. I'm going to do it in Las Vegas by way of phone or what have you. So I may put you on the line, and I'm going to let you know what I'm watching and what I'm seeing, and I'm going to break it down, and I'm going to get your full prediction day of the fight that by noon, and then we're going to post it, and then we're going to see what happens then. Now, I did talk to Robert Garcia, and I had the privilege and honor of visiting Jose Ramirez at the training camp. One thing he said to me is, he said, Richard, we may see a trilogy, which goes back to what you said earlier, Mach, a classic.
I could see that kind of fight. I could see a very close, competitive fight from the round 1 or to 12. I mean, there's a lot on the line. I won't be surprised to draw.
There
I would
you
not be
go.
surprised.
You heard it first from the Macho Man.
Or a bad call. You know what? Jose should have only gave it to Josh. Okay, do it again. I mean, I would not be surprised. This is boxing.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Mach, I'm going to change it up a little bit. I went to Robert Garcia's boxing academy, and your name was brought up. I brought your name up, and I said, Robert, any chance? Because I noticed, Robert, you're a trimmer. I noticed some of your posts that you're working out again, and then I'm hearing Mike Tyson's fighting, Roy Jones is fighting. There's an exhibition here and there. So I asked him, any chance of you coming back in the ring, to lace him up? And he didn't hesitate to say, well, Richard, you know what? I never really gave it much thought, but if it's for a good cause and I asked a question that he wanted to answer. And I said, what do you think about Robert Garcia taking on Hector Macho Camacho Jr.? He was not opposed to it. He said, it has to be an exhibition. He said, Richard, you keep mentioning the word fight. And he goes, Macho's younger than me, man. And he kind of chuckled a little bit. But I can see the future, you guys sharing the ring together. Are you open to sharing the ring with the legendary trainer, the former world champion in Robert Garcia? Because everybody and their grandma's going to come and see their trainer fight, and yet they know the second coming of Hector Macho Camacho Jr., who has a date in June, is still open to the sweet science in the sport of boxing.
Hey, ain't talk will share the ring with boxing greats. And just so happened when you talk boxing greats, you talk about Mexican fighters. Anytime you can fight and share either one, I'm all for that. I'm doing it with Chavez now. Probably he's not so happy. I'll probably beat up on Chavez, one of his idols. I don't know what the question is, but would I love to do Robert Garcia? Hell yeah, I would love to do it. Robert's a great fighter. We came up during the same time, more or less. I love this fight. I love what they're doing there. Mickey, I love everything that's going on over there. Hell yeah, I would love to do it.
The stage is yours right now. Robert Garcia is listening. He's tuning in. Any words or any proposed offerings that you would love to do or break bread or have business with Robert Garcia in any shape or form of entering the ring with him?
I would love to do it. We do it for good cause, for charity. Hey, Robert is in the gym every day. Robert works every day. I don't want to hear that I haven't fought for a long time. I haven't did this for a long time. He stays in the gym consistently. His boxing IQ is great.
Yes.
After I finished being on one of the boxing greats, all-time greats is Chavez. Hey, Robert, get yourself ready. You could do a quick couple rounds and give a good cause. Why not? You're still young. We still young. Let's have fun. That's what we do. Is have fun. It's macho time.
Hey, you heard it from the Macho
What
Man
time is
himself.
it?
Oh, yeah, I can
It's
see
macho
that.
time,
There
baby.
you go. I like that. Let me see that again. Let me see that again,
Hey, we
Macho.
can't wait for June 19th, man. June 19th is macho time. We ready, man.
I can see that, but we're living in today. I mean, hopefully we get a June 19th. I want to see you talk to me June 20th. I'm looking forward to June 20th, Mach.
That's me too.
You know why, Mach? You know why I'm looking forward to June 20th? Because I look forward to doing business with you, Macho. June 20th.
Hey, you're a man who know your box. Like I said, I don't speak to boxing much with people, but it gotta be someone who knows their box. Hey, Rich, how many times I go jog in the morning and we still on the phone for an hour talking about boxing?
Yeah, that's true.
Beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't expect 10 minutes talking about no boxing. You know what's question? And I asked you a question, Rich, because I like to hear your take. You don't agree with me on certain thing, and I love it because you tell me why you don't agree. Well, you know, much I don't think so because it is. Like, it's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing, Rich. I look forward to doing business as well. We can do something together. Hey, why not? Do something in Fresno. Why not? Robert's hot in Fresno. I mean, do something. Same Mark Center. Why not? It's big.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Mach, I wish you the best. We're going to be rooting for you, when you enter the ring June 19th. And also, we're going to be supporting everything that you do. But this Saturday, this Saturday, we got Showtime Boxing. We had our guest, Danny, the babyface assassin Roman. The next Saturday, the fight we've all been waiting for, especially not just in the Valley, but worldwide. It's going to be fireworks, man. It's going to be everything that it lives up to be, that it's been hyped up to be. It's going to be, my gosh, it's going to be historical. And I'm not saying it just to say, because Rick Meridian, he loves using that word. He'll say, I went to the zoo and it was historical. I had this steak. I had this steak and it was historical. But Rick, you are on the money this time, my man. This fight is not only historical, it's needed for boxing. You're going to see the chain ball. You're going to see the tire effect after this fight, as if to say, hey, these two fighters are fighting each other in their prime. They're undefeated. They're putting their titles on the line. Why aren't we doing the same damn thing? Why? Because they're daring themselves to be great. Top Rank has done a great job. ESPN has done a great job. Josh Taylor's management has done a great job, and so has Jose's management done a great job in putting this together for not only the legacy, the fight fans, the followers, the supporters, but for longevity and another man that whoever wins this fight is shot caller, bro. Shot caller in their division, whether they choose to move up to 147 or just sit down and dominate at 140. A lot of names, a lot of options, a lot of green, and a lot of history.
They're going to be great. Thumbs up for Richie. You already know, brother. Whenever you need me, I'm on. It's macho time. Appreciate you, Rich.
I appreciate you too. I appreciate you too. We will talk soon. Hey, as always, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to leave it at that note. I want to thank the great Hector Macho Camacho Jr., who's a son of a living legend, Hector Macho Camacho. This is Richard Ortiz, your host of The Fighter's Voice, the only voice that matters. And like Hector Macho Camacho and Danny Roman and Josh Taylor and Jose Ramirez, we're simply knocking out the competition. It's a wrap. Thumbs up for Richie.
Don't miss out. Now you can listen to the Fighter's Voice podcast radio show on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn Radio. New show, new topics, new look, bringing you the latest news. Every fighter has a voice, and so do you. For the hottest and latest in sports and entertainment, exclusive interviews with the biggest names in the sport of boxing and MMA.
I'm Robert Garcia. I'm Jose Ramirez. Hey guys, this is Mikey Garcia, and I'm here with
The Fighter's Voice.